as you can see, slight change of location. I did it. I finally moved house. I'm here. You're in my lounge currently, because my downstairs office is also my tip room, which is full of all sorts of rubbish. So this might be a once in a lifetime opportunity. This room isn't done yet. I want to get a rug in, but I've run out of money. Hey ho. So has everybody else. There's a few other things to mention that you've missed whilst on the long hiatus. The last video that I did, proper video I should say, that I did was the camera collection, selling my cameras, and what my plan was for the future. And yeah, I sold some cameras. I haven't sold all of them yet. I still have some that are knocking about. The more undesirable ones, like the Minolta Dynax 7 or whatever it is, that's still knocking about. But the rest of it is pretty much gone. I did have a moment when I almost put my Hasselblad on. I did have a moment when I almost put my Leica on. In fact, no, I did put my Hasselblad on, sorry. I did put my Hasselblad on eBay. But then something came over me and went, don't do it. So, like I said in that video, I've got the 35 in the M7. I've got medium format with the Hasselblad, and I still have a large format kit, but that's the only film stuff that I've got. I do still have some Leica R lenses. In fact, you're filming me right now on the 50mm. Ooh, artistic. And because I've got horrendous gas, I picked up another lens. Ooh. So now I have the 50mm, the 135, and the 35-70 f4. I don't really know why I picked this one up. I think it's just because it was at a silly price because it doesn't have the lens hood with it. But of what I've tested with it, it's pretty good. It's alright. It's quite nice. In fact, I think no, I used a 50mm on that. But I did use this lens for infrared as well. That camera's gone as well now. So it worked all right. Zoom lenses don't really work for infrared that well, but this one did a good job, so that was all good. But yeah, I haven't really used this lens that much, so I don't really know what the quality is. I just know that it is quite a nice lens. As you've seen as well, I've also been doing some shorts recently. It was a failed project, but hey, you got to try things. I tried to do a take a photo every single day type project with a Ricoh GR3, which I have just here. Love the camera. It's pretty cool. It's pretty wicked. Not tempted by an X100 5 or 6. And also what's weird for me as well is that I don't normally like 28mm focal lengths. In fact, for the longest time it was my most hated focal length, just because I could never get on with it. But I bought a Ricoh GR3. This is going to sound familiar, as a little pick-me-up for my birthday, just because the nature of my job is that I travel quite a lot. And I was finding that I was taking quite a lot of images on my phone in RAW. It's only 12 meg and it's a small sensor, and it'd be nice to have something with a bit of manual control. So I picked that up, and yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Admittedly, I shot it heavily the first half of the year, but then when it came to moving in here, I completely dropped the ball. So I had a moving in date all set, and then I had to do the mad scramble of get all the paperwork sorted, get all the money sent across, have a little cry, of course. And yeah, that was basically what took up all of my time. So unfortunately, I skipped a few days, and then it got to a point where I went, well, there's no point in doing a 365 project if I've missed 30 days or something like that. It wasn't quite 30 days. It was probably like a week and a half. But nevertheless, I felt, no, let's just stop it here, and we'll try something else. I think it's too much pressure to consistently post like that. So yeah, I've stopped doing that, but maybe I've got something else planned. We'll have to have a look and see. But yeah, Ricoh GR3. All of a sudden, I love 28mm focal length. I don't know what it is. Yeah, never liked it on SLRs. They were always the cheapest lenses that you could buy. For film SLRs, that is, just after 50 mils. But I never had any enjoyment with them whatsoever. But for whatever reason, in the GR3, I absolutely love it. And that's kind of what I want to bring this video around to. So I have tried to make other videos. In fact, I've tried to make 2 other videos on lenses. One of them got much further than the other. And I'm going to share the intro to that with you now. Enjoy.
Alors que j'étais en vacances cette année, j'essaie d'échapper à la course que nous appelons la normalité. J'avais une envie de...
Yes, so I picked up a I picked up a Lenslight Lab 50mm f2 speed Panchro because of a Mr. Ted Forbes who did a very highly praising video of the lens. Don't get me wrong, it's a good lens. I do enjoy it. But as I was making the video, and I went out to go and shoot more sample stuff. So everything that you see in the intro is a holiday that I took in Sweden, Norway, and to a certain degree Finland as well. It was a layover, it was fine. But the majority of the photos that I took there were with this lens and with my 35 Summicron. And it was bright and sunny and warm and lovely. So the majority of the time I was stopped down from maybe about, there are some like f2.8 images in there, but through to like f8 or even up to f16 in some occasions. But yeah, as I was actually testing the lens more when I got back, I realised that I'd been sold something by the man, and the man is Ted Forbes. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, sort of thing. But I don't like this lens. This is a bad lens. Or it's a bad lens for me. I'll put it that way. I'm shooting a lot of digital now. If you couldn't tell from the very pessimistic intro. I'm shooting a way more digital than I am film. And this lens on digital, wide open at f2, which is kind of the reason why you would buy it, is horrifically bloomy to the point that it kind of is too much, and it's almost like faux analog look, if you know what I mean. It's almost like it's trying too hard to be full of character. And don't get me wrong, I like characterful lenses, but I just feel that this lens is probably trying too hard. That's the way that I'd put it, and that's why I don't like it. So the images that I took in Sweden and Norway, they're quite nice. They're alright, but like I said, they were stopped down a bit, so I wasn't actually making use of the character type effect that the lens has. So that video ended pretty quickly on that front. Admittedly, I was very excited to do it, but it was actually only when I started taking pictures with it back here in the UK, and I know Norway and Sweden are higher up on the latitude than the UK is, but the UK is the greyest place in the world. And yeah, like I say, it's just too much for me, too bloomy, too much character. So yeah, I was hoping that it could be my 50mm to buy for a Leica kit, but sadly not. Sadly not. Also worth mentioning as well is that I removed the actual focus tab that came with it, and I didn't use the pin either. I bought this it's 7 Artisans or TT Artisans focus tab that I stuck on the back. It just works so much better than what they supply. And another annoying quirk of it is that the distance scale, the throw is too long. So some people complain about other lenses, so like Voigtlander lenses or 7 Artisans or TT Artisans or something like that, having too little focus throw. And I think this is the complete opposite, because when you are focusing through the rangefinder, you end up bringing your finger up, and you can see your finger through the rangefinder. So it's a bit far. So it's not the quickest lens to use. But yeah, I'll probably be selling this one at some point in the future. I might keep it around for a little bit longer, maybe just for comparison's sake. If I do say some short form lens reviews, maybe in the terms of like a reel or something like that. But we'll see how it goes on that front. But yeah, like Lens Lab, don't believe the hype. It's nice, but I think it's a bit too much. On film, it seems to be a little bit more controlled, but on digital, nah, too much for me. Another lens that I picked up recently, or in fact I picked up two, but I've only got one with me at the moment, is a 90mm. Ooh! So I picked up a Leica 90mm Elmarit, the Canadian version, the Tele Elmarit, for a song one day. I've literally no idea why it sold so cheap. It literally must have been just me and one other person watching it. But I picked that lens up just to shoot something a little bit different, and that was what the second video was going to be. And when I first bought it, did a couple of tests, enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, there's something in this, but I think I need to be in the right place at the right time before I can really sort of give an opinion on it, because it's not an everyday lens, at least not for me. And I was actually out in the Peak District here in the UK. You've seen a few videos where I'm up here in the Peak District. And I was using it up at Winnets Pass, so near Mamtool. And I was shooting down into the pass, and I think at the time I was also shooting another 50mm, which we'll get to in a moment. And I took out the 90mm with me, the Tele Elmarit. And I took this photo down into the pass, and the results just kind of blew me away. It was like, oh, I found what this lens is for, sort of thing, and I found what I love about this lens. Yeah, all of a sudden it was my go-to lens for like 2 or 3 weeks. But then this is why this video got cancelled. But then It's not broken. It's not why I don't have it with me. It's because I left it upstairs and I can't be asked to go and get it. Um, but what I did notice is that the lens, or at least my copy of the lens, is only really sharp at 2.8. So if you stop it down, it just seems to get very, very hazy and soft very quickly. And I mean, I thought, oh, maybe it's something to do with the aperture closing and everything sharpening up, sort of thing. And you're seeing all this dust and gunk on all the elements. So I took it apart and rebuilt it, polished it all, rebuilt it. But no, it just seems to be this lens is only sharp at 2.8 on a digital sensor for some bizarre reason. Um, and from that, I thought, right, well, it's good. It's quite hazy, kind of low contrast. So maybe I'll have a look in the future. It's fine for the moment, but maybe I'll have a look in the future at upgrading it to a newer 90mm. And that's when this one popped up. And again, I don't know why, but 90mm at the moment just seem to be selling for absolutely nothing. So I think I picked up the original one for £180, and then I picked this one up for 300 odd quid. Which again, for this, I think these normally go for between 5 and 6. So to get it for like 50% off is kind of odd. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly normal lens. Hello. Everything works fine. Apertures are great. It's a lovely sharp lens. This, if you're interested, for all the nerds, this one's from 1998, so it isn't 6-bit coded. But that is something that I will add because you can still get the lens profile for this one, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I then bought this one, and then I've been shooting this one ever since. So I don't really have that largest selection of images for the Teleelmrit. So that's why that video ended. But maybe I'll do something on comparing the two ever so slightly. But again, nothing major, nothing in depth. I've been drinking vodka. Anyway. Another thing that I also think that I need to mention is that I did it. I bought a digital Leica. Oh my god, he's done it. He actually followed through on something that he said he was going to do. I did. I got this because I know someone who knows someone, and then they gave me a good price on it, so that's why I've got it. I've pimped it out a little bit, admittedly. It's got a nice grip on it. It's got a shutter button and a wooden cover, because when you shoot Leica, it's all about the aesthetics. It's not about actual photography, is it? And I've got it on a Joe Greer short strap, so I can show off to everybody and let them know that I'm better than everybody else is. So that works for me. That's all good. But I actually picked up another lens. So this is the other 50mm. And this is a Zeiss Planar f2. I think you're well aware that I'm a slut for your boy Carlos Zeiss. And planar lenses just are absolutely fantastic. I love them. I think it's probably my favourite lens design ever. If it was possible to get a planar 35mm, then that might be possibly a dream lens of mine. I'm going to say that you can, but I don't know what mount it's on. It might be like a Fuji X mount. Is it a 2-it or something like? Oh no, that'd be. Or maybe it is a 2-it. Anyway, I'm rambling now. But yeah, I picked this lens up just because 50mm for the longest time was my focal length. I'm not going to say I was getting a little bit bored of the 35, but I just felt that in a few situations I wanted a little bit more reach. And I used to have the Voigtlander Nocton, which you'll see in the Leica M7 video. and that for a very, very long time was my favourite 50mm lens, at least on film. I never tested it on digital. That was my favourite 50mm for a very long time. And obviously now there's the Nocton 2, but I thought I would go for the Zeiss. I think it was a similar sort of price, I can't quite remember. Purely just because I love planar lenses, and nowadays I'm not into speedy lenses as such. Typically the majority of the time I'm finding that I'm shooting around about f4, 5, 6 through to about 8. So I'm not really using the wider aperture unless it is low light situations or you need it to separate a subject from a background or something like that. So, but no, this is a lovely lens. And again, purchased this after deciding that the Light Lens Lab wasn't for me. And I mean, it's gorgeous. A lot of people don't like the chrome nose. I like the chrome nose. I've got plenty of time for the chrome nose. I can understand the reflections thing. But hey ho, don't worry about it. Life's got impurities in it. Your photos can too. So long as you're enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the aesthetics. So, but yeah, it's a brilliant little lens. Very, very sharp. Because it is a Voigtlander Cassina lens. It does have the little trench in it, so you can 6-bit these lenses, 6-bit code these lenses, I should say. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm going to do with the rest of them. I'm going to get them all coded so I can just whack them on, although they're not going to be a Summicron or a Elmarit or whatever. It just means that I know what focal length that I shot at that time, and I can go, well, it was that lens, and I mean I can put it in the metadata anyway, can't I? So it's no big rush really, but it's yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I've got plenty of time for it. And then finally, this is the lens that you're going to call me a hypocrite for. So this is the Typoc Simera. Wait for it. It's the 28mm. Oh, his least favourite focal length. And it's a 1.4. Oh, he only shoots between f4 to f8. Yeah. But, okay, I don't have an excuse. Yeah, so because of the GR3, I decided that I needed a 28mm for the Leica. Obviously, APS-C, so that's an 18mm. This is a 28mm. I think a reason why I didn't like 28s in the past is because they didn't throw the background out enough, or it was too wides, and because it was only a 2.8 typically with like SLR lenses, say like Olympus or Canon or whatever, you wouldn't get that much subject separation unless you got close. And I don't do street photography. It terrifies me, the thought of doing street photography like that. So that's why I never got into it. And I'm very much of the opinion, whilst I can get on with the focal length now for framing and composition, I am very much of the opinion of you need to have a special sort of wide angle lens to make it worthwhile. If you had the most clinically accurate wide angle lens and you were taking a photo of something, you just got a very flat, essentially sharp across the frame image. And the thing that I really like about the Simera, and it's the main reason that I bought it, is for the 3D pops that you get. Again, the planar lens or planar lens that I bought, the Zeiss, has that 3D pop, the same as quite a lot of Leica lenses have that 3D pop. Nowadays, camera manufacturers, I should know, I've worked for two now at this point, think that it's an aberration and they want to get rid of it. Everything needs to be flat and on plane. It's a distortion. It's dirty. Get rid. But I love it. I think it's another way of, without bringing a light to a shoot to act as a hair light, it's a brilliant way to separate subject from background or isolate something with not just a shallow depth of field sort of thing. And admittedly, yes, it does work best when shooting at a shallow depth of field, but you still have that 3D pop even at like 2.8 f4 sort of thing. And like I say, that is purely the reason for why I bought the Typox Chimera. I haven't got a massive amount of images for this yet, but of what I've shot so far, it's been pretty fun, pretty good. The image quality holds up. I was potentially thinking of getting the 35mm that they do, but from what I can gather, it doesn't really hold up. The 28 is the better out of the two lenses, so I'm probably not going to do that. And I think it's just gas at the moment. I think that's all it is. It's not. I actually need it. I'm happy with lighter lenses. That is my only criticism of this, that it is so big and heavy, similar to the 90mm. It is bigger and it is more heavy, hence the grip on the camera. But yeah, no, it's a lovely lens. I don't need to buy a 35mm that's 1.4. The Summicron does have 3D pop. And yeah, it's all good. So whilst 35 and 50mm were my most shot lenses, focal lengths, things have taken a turn, and at the moment, my most shot lenses are the 28 that I don't like, and the 90mm that's too long for certain for most situations, which is very, very bizarre. For me, so I'm getting used to that, but I'm having a lot of fun shooting that way. But yeah, I think that's another thing to sort of go on and say. I haven't been sharing anything because I've been photographing for myself recently. So yes, I've done like the Ricoh thing. And that was exhausting, posting and taking a photo every single day. And it doesn't seem that you get much for it. Instagram doesn't care for it unless you've already got an audience. But that's not what it should be about. It should be about doing the thing that you want to do for you. And I feel that I'm doing that currently. I do have a project that I want to shoot, and in fact, I've had a project that I've wanted to shoot since, when was it? I started planning for it in November last year, but I don't have the money to do it because I have this house now, and it costs money to go to this place, and I don't have the spare cash at the moment, so it's a little bit hard to do that. But when I am going out and about, I am taking photos for myself. I'm not sharing them necessarily, not because I'm selfish and I want to keep them all to myself, and it's not because I don't think that they're not bangers, 10 out of 10, boo boo boo, flame emoji sort of thing. But yeah, I just want to keep it for me. That's what this should be about. I don't need to share everything every moment, every hour, sort of thing. But yeah, haha, I've tricked you into a bit of therapy with Jack by talking about all the new lenses that I've bought. But yeah, maybe I'll do a very, very short video for you in the future on images that have come out of these lenses. And maybe I'll do a longer term update later on down the line. Yes. I don't think that I've got anything more to say. You might see some short videos on these. Let me know what lenses you quite like for 3D pop, characteristics, this, that, and the other. Anything that you think that I'm missing. Like I say, I like character, but I don't like over the top characters. So I don't recommend like a 1936 Leica lens scimitar that's like been spat on or something like that. That won't do for me. More modern stuff, let's say from the 1970s or 80s onwards, anything like that you've got that you think is quite interesting, you think that I'd like, leave them down below and let me know about them. If you do want to help me fund my project, guess what? You can do. But if you head over to my website, I've got some limited edition prints over there, as well as some non-limited, like an open run. Quite a lot of them actually were shot either on the 35 or on that light lens lab that I don't like particularly much, or the Sony RX1, which was very, very fun to shoot with. But yeah, absolutely. If you want to help me fund a new project, then head over there, pick yourself up a print. If I get enough people buying prints, then I might even treat myself to a rug, which would be very nice because I'm currently wearing slippers everywhere I go because this laminate is cold. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Doodle pip. Excuse this, by the way. I'm very tired. It's a Friday.